y'all, it's another Gettin Real with Ashleydawn. I'm Ashleydawn, and I want to get real with you about being a person of your word, being a man of your word, being a woman of your word. When you say you're going to do something, do you follow through and do it? When you say you're going to go to that event, do you follow through and do it? When you say you're going to volunteer, do you follow through and do it? When you tell someone something, do you follow through and do it? That's a really hard question to ask someone, because most people say a lot of things, but then when the rubber meets the road, there's very little action to back up the words that were spoken. For instance, when someone is planning a birthday and someone's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come, and then right up until the last moment they decide they're not gonna come. And I know some people have social anxiety, some people have anxiety attacks. I'm not discrediting actual mental health issues that inhibit certain people from doing things. I'm talking overall, general. It's a generalization. Do you follow through on the commitments that you make? When you write checks with your mouth, does your butt cash them? When you promise things, when you say things, do you actually do what you promise you're going to do, or do what you say you're going to do? One thing my daddy taught me when I was a very little girl is, if you say it, you better do it. Don't say it if you don't want to do it. Don't tell someone they can borrow something if you don't want them to borrow it. Don't tell someone you're going to be somewhere if you don't actually intend on being there. He taught me very early on the importance of your word and being true to your word, being honest. And, you know, if you're not wanting to go somewhere, or you're not wanting to do something, to just be honest. He used to say all the time, just be honest, Ash. Tell him how you feel. He encouraged me to speak my mind more than anybody on this earth has ever encouraged me to speak my mind. To just tell people how you're feeling. To just say it like you think it, or like you feel it. If you don't want to go somewhere, just tell somebody, listen, I don't have the mental capacity to go there today. I don't want to go there. I did something the other day I didn't want to do. I had made plans with somebody and things had changed and I just didn't want to go. But guess what? My little butt got my shoes on and I went. Why? Because I gave somebody my word and I said I was going to do something. I am a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to volunteer, I volunteer. If I say I'm going to give somebody something, I give them the thing that I said that I would. If I borrow something and I tell somebody I'm going to give it back, guess what? I give it back. And I know common sense ain't common, and common courtesy ain't common either. And there's so many people in this world that, goodness gracious, say a million things and their life is opposite of everything that they say. I've had so many people flake on me at the last minute, you know, and I've bought tickets for them. And then 5 minutes before the game or 5 minutes before something, they say, oh, I can't go. And I'm like, well, are you going to pay me for the ticket that I bought for you? A lot of times they don't. And that's another thing. When you buy tickets or when you pay for something, my friends are always like, hey, you plan it, Ashleydawn. You're so good at planning. You plan it, and then I'll Venmo you or I'll Cash App you. I'm like, okay. And then they forget. Or then they didn't intend on paying me back anyway. And they're like, oh, she'll forget about it. And then I'm stuck with a ticket price that they either went to and enjoyed and didn't want to pay for, or decided they didn't want to go to it after the fact. I had a friend that, you know, sent me this link. It was like, go get these tickets, I'll pay you back. So I get them, I put them on my credit card, and guess what? A couple days before the event, they changed their mind. And I'm thankful they changed their mind in time for me to tell somebody else. But it's just like, okay, well, my bank account didn't change its mind that it needs to get paid. So how about you Venmo me? How about you Cash App me? The thing is, so often people sign up for something and then they don't realize that there's a cost attached to that thing. If you sign up to volunteer, there's a cost attached to volunteering. You're going to have to give your time, talents, and abilities to that thing you're wanting to volunteer for. And if you say yes to something, it means you're saying no to something else. Your time is your most valuable thing that you own. You can always make more money. You can always buy more stuff. You can never get more time. So when you give your time to something, there's a cost attached to that. Don't tell someone you're going to do something if you don't want to do it. Because you're writing checks with your mouth that your butt ain't cashing. And your friends, after a while, like, they'll show you grace and they'll be like, oh, it's okay, no big deal. But after you do it about 1,500 times, they're going to be like, you know what? I'm not even inviting you no more. Because you always flake on me. Because you're not there when you say you're going to be. I had a friend that would make plans with me all the time, and I would cancel my schedule. I would move things around, and they would constantly flake on me, like, oh, hey, we're gonna go this place on Thursday, next Thursday. Okay, next Thursday comes, hey, something came up, I'm not gonna be able to come. It's my dad's birthday, it's my mom's birthday, it's Father's Day, it's Mother's Day, I forgot I have to take my dog to the vet. Like, plan accordingly. If you struggle with planning, get a planner. Where's my planner? I have a planner at all times. And when somebody says, Ashleydawn, can you do this? You know what the first thing I do? If I don't have my planner with me, I'm like, can I get back to you? Let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. But if I do have it, I'm like, wait a second. And I'll pull it out and I'll be like, okay, Thursday, you wanted me to go somewhere? No, I have a chiropractic appointment, I have a doctor's appointment, and I have to work. That won't work for me. Or somebody says, okay, well, 3 weekends from now, okay? Nope, that won't work for me. I carry a planner so that I know what my schedule is at all times. And a lot of people say, well, you could just use your phone. Listen, I am a notebook and pencil type of girl. Phones can die. Phones can break. Phones can short out. Phones can get stolen. There's a million things that can happen to phones. And yes, my little book could get stolen. I doubt anybody would want it. But I like to have pencil and paper. And so I have that one. And then I have a big one that I write all of that stuff on my big one on my wall in my room. So that I have a backup. So that I can see, okay, what am I doing Tuesday at 5 o'clock? Oh, Tuesday at 5 o'clock, I have an appointment with somebody. Okay, I can't plan anything else. And that's the thing, like, give yourself wiggle room. Don't book, and this is, I'm speaking to myself, don't book yourself 5 appointments in one day if you know you can't do all 5, or 5 events in one day. I have spoken, the most I've spoken at is 4 events in one day, and literally like all over Southwest Florida. And then one I had to fly to North Carolina. Like, do not overbook your schedule. That'll help you not say yes to things that you don't want to say yes to. Lisa Turquoise has a book, and it's called The Best Yes. And it talks about when you say yes to something, or when you say yes to somebody, that yes means that you're saying no to something else, or you're saying no to somebody else. So if I say yes, I'm going to go to lunch with my friend Marcella, that means I'm not going to go to lunch with anybody else. My yes to Marcella means a no to everybody else. If I say yes, I'm going to go out of town with my friend Tanya, that yes to Tanya means no to everybody else. If I say yes, I'm going to take my mom somewhere, that yes to my mom is a no to everybody else. So when you say yes to somebody, understand the power and the cost and the weight of your yes. And the weight, the power, and the cost of your no to everybody else. If you don't want to do something, do not say that you're going to do it. Be honest. I had another friend, we were talking the other day, and she has another friend, and she said, I really don't want to do what I told her I wanted to do. And I said, well, just be honest with her. Tell her that you have other plans, that you want to do something else. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to hurt her feelings. I'm like, here's the deal. Hurt somebody's feelings with the truth, instead of lying to them and going and being miserable because you didn't want to go to begin with. Have you ever went somewhere that you did not want to be at? Everybody around you can tell that you don't want to be there. Listen, I used to want to be an actress when I was a little girl. I thought I'd be real good at it because I'm good at impersonations and I talk a lot and I could be loud and I could be silly. And then I wanted to be a comedian because I think I'm real funny and other people laugh at my jokes sometimes. And I am a pretty good actress. I was in musical theater. I was in the thespian troupe. Like, I can act decently. And I used to put on little skits when I was a little girl for my parents and their friends. No matter how good of an actress I am, I cannot fake it and pretend that I want to be somewhere that I don't actually want to be. Everybody around me can tell. My face doesn't lie. If I am miserable, you will see it all over my face. I will smile and I'll try to be nice, but you will be able to tell that I don't want to be at the place that I am. Your friends would rather you not be somewhere than you be there and be miserable and have a Sour Patch Kid face on. Like, your friends don't want that. I don't want that. If you're one of my friends and I invite you somewhere and you don't want to go, please don't tell me that you do. Please don't make me feel like you want to be somewhere that you don't. Please, I give you the freedom to say no. I give you the freedom to say you'd rather do something else. My daddy used to tell me all the time, be like, hey, Daddy, you want to go here? And he's like, no, I don't. That's not fun for me, Ash. I'd be like, oh, okay. He was honest. Did it hurt my feelings? No. Would I have liked him to go with me? Yeah, of course. I love my daddy. I always wanted to do stuff with him. But he didn't like shopping. He liked thrift shopping. That was kind of like our little thing, in flea markets and treasure hunting. But he didn't want to go to a mall. He didn't want to go to a big old store. He didn't want to go to Walmart. My mom will go to Walmart with me. She'll go to Home Depot with me. She kind of likes looking and shopping and doing stuff. So I know who to ask when I'm going different places, because I know who likes going different places. My mom doesn't really care about eating out at fancy restaurants. And for the most part, my dad didn't either. But I used to try to bribe him. And I'd be like, hey, Daddy, you want to go here? I'll buy you lunch. He's like, okay. I'm going to get a meal out of this, you know. And I'd ask him something. He's like, you're feeding me, right? And I'm like, of course I'm feeding you. And that was like our little joke. But I know that my dad liked to eat more than my mom liked to eat. My mom really doesn't care. She eats to keep her body going. My dad kind of liked to taste his food and to try new things, and he'd almost try anything. And so I knew that if I asked my dad to go somewhere fun, he'd say yes. And if I asked my mom, she'd say she'd rather do something else. I knew that if I asked my dad to go to the art store and buy paint supplies, he'd say yes. My mom would go too, because she likes art too. But like, I would rather have somebody say, I would rather do something else, than to tell me they want to do something that they don't want to do, than to promise me something that they know darn well they're not going to fulfill. Here's the deal. We walk around trying to be people pleasers and trying to make everybody happy. And meanwhile, we're making ourselves miserable. God does not want you to be miserable. God wants you to be honest. If you don't want to go somewhere, don't say that you do. If you don't want to do something, don't say that you do. Granted, I mean, almost nobody wants to go to work, but you got to pay your bills. So obviously that's a given. But I'm saying, if somebody asks you if you want to do something, don't say yes just because you don't want to let them down. Get over the desire to please people and ask God if he's pleased. Ask yourself if you are pleased. Because you being miserable ain't helping nobody. It ain't helping your friends. It ain't helping God. I love Joyce Meyer because, she says God has given us a life and he wants us to live it abundantly. He doesn't want us to be sour all the time. And she shares her testimony of how she was miserable. She was never happy. And that God doesn't have that for us. I think about the Muppets, the two little old guys that are at the theater, and they're always sour and they're always complaining. I don't want to be a sour person. I don't want to be always complaining and I don't want to be here. Well, then don't be there. Let's just get honest and let's get real. Let's be who we are. Let's say what we think. But obviously think about it. Don't just spread words haphazardly. But let's not fake it. That's one thing I cannot stand. I don't want anybody faking anything to me. You don't want to go somewhere? Great, tell me. You don't want to do something? Great, tell me. But don't fake it. I would rather have somebody be authentic than to have somebody faking it because they think it's going to make me happy. Let's be who we are. Let's say what we actually feel. Let's not, blow smoke in people's faces because we think it'll make them happy, and kiss up to them and say all the right things and all the things that we think they want to hear. Let's be honest. Obviously, speak the truth in love, but let's be honest. Don't say you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. You can be silent. You can just not say anything at all. Don't be giving people all kinds of promises that you're not going to fulfill. If you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And here's the thing. You can say, can I get back to you on that? Like, that sounds nice, but can I get back to you? Can I check my schedule and get back to you? That's what I do with people. I'm like, you know what? Can I get back to you? I don't know if I want to do that, but can I get back to you? Because I might want to do that, but I might not. My plans might change. I might want to do something else instead of doing that. Can I get back to you? Can I check my schedule and let you know? I promise you, try being honest. That's my daily encouragement for you. Try being honest. If you don't really want to do something, tell people, hey, I don't really want to do that. If they say, hey, I'm going to get sushi tonight, you want to come? And you say, you know what? I'd love to spend time with you, but I really don't like sushi. I really don't want to go because I don't like sushi. I'd rather go get some steak. My friend Kiara is amazing at that. I'll be like, hey, you want to go get this? She's like, no, but I'd rather go get this. And I'm like, okay, that's something I could work with. Say what you want. Like, a lot of the times people are not meeting your needs is because they don't know what your needs are. Are you verbalizing what you want? Are you verbalizing your needs to somebody? Are you saying, this is what I need from our friendship? This is what I need from our relationship. That's one of the things I look back, and I've had a couple relationships that I look back and I say, well, those could have went a little differently. If I would have verbalized what I needed and what I wanted, and then when I saw that they were incapable, I don't know the proper wording for that, but when I saw that they were incapable of loving me the way that I needed or wanted to be loved, I could have said, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. Thank you, but I think I'm going to choose something else. Like, this relationship, you're a great guy, but it's just not for me. If you know what you need, for instance, I was talking to my mom the other night, and we were talking about the different things that I need in a man. Somebody that's going to come alongside of me and somebody that's going to partner with me. The different things that I need in a man. I was listing my thing off, and she says, do you know how many guys that you have given a chance to that don't meet any of those qualifications? If you were an employer, you wouldn't hire somebody that didn't meet those qualifications. So why are you allowing these guys to have a chance to get to know you when they don't meet your qualifications? And I say, oh, well, I just wanted to give them a chance. And my mom says, a chance for what? You're giving them false hope because they think there could be a future with you, and they don't meet any of your qualifications. If you go to be a pilot and you don't have good eyesight, you're never going to be a pilot unless you get surgery. But like, as you are, without anything changing, you're not going to be able to be that pilot if your eyesight's bad. If that person doesn't have the qualifications to be the man that you need them to be, don't even entertain them. Don't give them false hope and be like, yeah, well, I just want to see where it goes. I want to get to know you. If you see clearly, don't try to please them. Don't try to, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to let them down. You're going to eventually hurt them. You're going to eventually let them down. Just be honest and just be like, listen, I have needs that I don't see you meeting. And I'm sure you have needs that I don't see me meeting. I don't think that we are qualified to be each other's person. And you can take that as you want. You can think that's mean, whatever. But if you know that you don't like eating sushi, you go into a sushi restaurant and spitting your food out ain't helping nobody. Okay? So let's be who we are. Let's say what we want. Let's tell people what we need from them. And let's honestly let people go if they don't have what we need for them to have. And let's allow them to let us go if we don't have what they need. It's not being mean. It's being honest. Just be honest. Don't write checks with your word that your butt can't cash. Don't say you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. Don't give false hope to people when you know darn well you don't want to go to that thing they just invited you to, or you don't want to do that thing you just told them you do. Okay? I hope that encouraged you. I love you. You are seen, you are celebrated, and you are loved. I will catch you in my next one.